It was a bright Tuesday morning in Los Angeles, with the city basking in the golden sunlight of an early fall day. Streets were alive with their usual chaos, bustling commuters, honking cars, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifting from roadside cafes. In the midst of all this energy, Elon Musk sat quietly in the back seat of his Tesla Model S, seemingly detached from the world outside. His phone buzzed relentlessly with emails and messages, yet Elon seemed uninterested. Instead, his gaze wandered out the tinted window, his mind preoccupied with thoughts unrelated to his busy schedule. Meetings, strategy calls, and product launches were lined up for the day, but for reasons even he couldn't quite explain, something felt missing. Out of nowhere, Elon leaned forward. "Take a left at the next street," he instructed his driver, his voice calm but firm. His assistant, seated in the passenger seat, looked over her shoulder, confused. "A left, sir. That's not the route to the SpaceX office. We're scheduled for—" "I know," Elon interrupted, his eyes locking onto something in the distance. "There's something I want to see." The assistant hesitated but nodded. As the car turned, Elon pointed to a small corner shop with an old, faded sign above the entrance. Golden Pages. It looked like a remnant of a bygone era, with weathered wooden shelves outside displaying a sparse selection of books that appeared as tired as the shop itself. "Stop here," Elon said, already opening the car door. As he stepped out, the world seemed to slow down. The noise of the city faded, replaced by the faint rustle of leaves and the creak of the shop's old wooden door as it swung open. A small bell above the door jingled, announcing his arrival. Inside, the bookstore felt like a time capsule. The dim lighting gave the space an intimate, almost sacred atmosphere. The air carried the nostalgic scent of aged paper and wood polish, mixed with a hint of mildew. Shelves stretched from floor to ceiling, though many were only half filled, and a thick layer of dust clung stubbornly to the books that remained. Behind the counter sat an elderly man, his face etched with years of experience and quiet resilience. Mr. Lawson adjusted his round glasses, squinting at the ledger in front of him. When the doorbell rang, he looked up, his tired eyes widening in surprise as they landed on his unexpected visitor. "Elon Musk?" he said, his voice shaky with disbelief. Elon smiled politely, his hands resting casually in his pockets. "Good morning," he said, his tone warm and unassuming. "I felt like buying some books." The elderly man stood slowly, his knees creaking along with the wooden floorboards beneath him. "Well, you've come to the right place," he said, his voice carrying a mix of pride and resignation. "Although I have to admit, it's not much of a bookstore anymore." Elon tilted his head, slightly intrigued. "Why not?" Mr. Lawson gestured around the shop. "The world's moved on. People don't read like they used to. This shop used to be alive. Families on weekends, couples searching for first editions, students flipping through stacks for essays. Now, I'm lucky if I get 3 customers a day." He paused, his fingers absent-mindedly running along the edge of the counter. "But this shop isn't just a business to me. It's my life's work. It's where stories live. And now, it feels like the stories are dying with it." Elon nodded thoughtfully, his eyes scanning the shelves. "Every story deserves a chance," he said softly, his voice carrying a conviction that made Mr. Lawson pause. "Places like this shouldn't just fade away." Without another word, Elon reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. His fingers moved swiftly over the screen as he began typing. "What are you doing?" Mr. Lawson asked, his tone curious but cautious. "Sharing your story," Elon replied simply. "Let's see what happens." The tweet read, "Discovering Golden Pages, a hidden gem of a bookstore that needs our support. Let's keep stories alive." By the time Elon left the shop, the tweet had already started gaining traction. Within an hour, his millions of followers had liked, shared, and commented on the post, spreading the word far and wide. People were intrigued, not just by the story of the bookstore, but by Elon's unexpected endorsement. The next morning, Mr. Lawson was greeted by an astonishing sight. A line of people stretched down the block, all waiting eagerly to enter Golden Pages. Families, students, and even journalists had come, their curiosity piqued by Elon's tweet. Inside, the once quiet shop was alive with energy. Customers browsed the shelves, children sat on the floor flipping through picture books, and conversations filled the air. For the first time in years, the cash register rang steadily. But Elon's impact didn't end there. By midday, a team of renovators arrived, sent by Elon himself. They worked tirelessly to transform the shop. The exterior was repainted, the wooden shelves were polished to a shine, and new lighting was installed, giving the space a warm, inviting glow. Publishers moved by the story began donating books to restock the shelves. Soon, Golden Pages was brimming with life, both in spirit and inventory. A week later, Elon returned to the shop to see the results. The transformation was breathtaking. What had once been a fading relic was now a vibrant community hub. People browsed the aisles, laughter and chatter filling the space. Mr. Lawson stood behind the counter, his expression one of pure joy. When he saw Elon, he hurried over, his eyes glistening with gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," he said, his voice cracking. "You didn't just save my shop. You brought it back to life." Elon placed a reassuring hand on the man's shoulder. "This isn't just your shop," he said. "It belongs to the community, and the stories it holds deserve to be shared." To celebrate the shop's revival, a grand reopening event was organized. The street outside was closed off, and tables filled with books lined the sidewalks. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and a small stage was set up near the entrance. Elon stood before the crowd, microphone in hand. "This bookstore is more than just a shop," he began, his voice carrying over the gathered audience. "It's a space where stories come to life, where connections are made. In a world dominated by technology, places like this remind us of what truly matters, our shared humanity." The crowd erupted into applause, their cheers echoing down the street. Nearby, Mr. Lawson stood with tears streaming down his face. For him, this wasn't just a reopening, it was a rebirth. That night, as Mr. Lawson locked up the shop, he paused to admire the new sign above the door. It gleamed in the moonlight, a symbol of resilience, community, and the enduring magic of stories. For Elon Musk, what had started as a spontaneous visit became a testament to the power of small acts of kindness. And for Golden Pages, it was proof that every story, no matter how close to fading, deserves a second chance.